Oh, we have really late to the party. That's okay. At least we have a party. Alright. So... let's... I don't want to blue tack it because I feel like that might mess her up. But... just get a general feel for where I want this. So I could cut it down to maybe like be laying on the side. I could see that. Maybe like get some cork under it. That could work. That could certainly work. Alright, well. Let's at least get from Alright, cool. So, think that's what I want to do. And maybe drill out some of those holes. Where did I put my clipper? Okay, there they are. Come on, man. Get with it. Get with it. Probably someone freaking out I'm using to use these clippers for this, but it's what we're doing. Welcome in, everybody. If you're watching this on YouTube, I go live every Wednesday from usually 10:30 p.m. Central to whenever I feel like it. If you're watching this on YouTube after it's been uploaded as a VOD, feel free to check out my TikTok, Instagram, and, well, YouTube if you found me here. I'll have more videos coming in the future, and I'll always have my Twitch VODs for some hopefully solid painting entertainment. Today we're working on our Golden Demon entry for the Reaver Titan that I've been working on. We're working on the basing, so pretty excited to get more into that. We're going to be adding this piece here to it, maybe with some cork. Get that sitting like on the corner there to help try to sell the narrative a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more inward. It's too bad I don't have an extra headpiece. That would be quite cool. Let's see what I do have though. Yeah, I don't have another headpiece, but might be able to work with some other stuff though. in addition to that, we're also working on a little side project of mine, a Cyberpunk miniature, which has been painting up really quickly. Quite happy with how this is looking so far. So I'm gonna think on this one just a little bit more, but we're gonna go ahead and continue this Cyberpunk mini because I'd like to get her taken care of. I think she's really cool. All right. So I think right now we want to do just a little bit more highlighting on the hair. Was this? Actually, let me get intense pink. I think that'll be the better option here. Oh. There it goes. That's a interesting phenomenon I was not expecting. Let me get... Oh, you'll work. It's the first time I had anything like that happen, where like the whole nib wanted to come out. Huh. Let me get... What's gonna be good for getting this out? You know what? Yeah, I don't mind getting this dirty. That is so weird. Okay. Well. No idea why that happened. No one probably comes into this VOD expecting me to spend the first like few minutes just cleaning out a paint lid, but here we are. Let's get a little bit more on the palette at least, and then we can use this to clean it out a little bit. Get another little sponge here. There we go. That's much better. Much cleaner. Alright, we'll go with that. It's so weird. I wonder why it did that. Alright, well, whatever. That aside, back to painting. So I think just a little bit of a true pink highlight would be good here. Just hit the top facings of those hair pieces there. Let that be a little bit brighter on the crown. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, that's one tip I always like, is if you're wondering how things look in a natural light, pull them off to the side a little bit. You can get a pretty quick idea of how they look, which is always a good thing in my opinion. Do a little bit more highlighting on the chest area. With that blue. Get just a little bit of a gray here. Start a little fresh with that Black Templar's black contrast. Get a little bit more of that gray. Hit right under the arm there. Use this darker gray to kind of help tie in those highlights a little bit, or at least that's the idea. Okay, then we're going to get our dry brush. Gonna get our bright silver. Excuse me. Tap our dry brush into our wet palette. Dry brushing is always a bit of a deceptive name because you're really slightly damp brushing in reality. Because you need moisture for the paint to actually flow off the bristles and not give a really chalky texture. So we're just lightly hitting all those metallic pieces. We're going to wash that and then come back in and do some highlighting. Speaking of washing, we're going to use a little bit of Leviathan blue to add a little bit more shading to the blue areas of the model. I'm going to take our brush, we're just going to get a little bit of water, make sure it's nice and thin. We're just going to concentrate on those lower facing areas, those more tucked away areas. Just like that. Super simple, but I think works pretty well. Here I just realized I hit her face with a little bit of that dry brushing, so just wanted to correct that while I'm thinking about it. Okay. And on her official picture, they're red. But I obviously did something pretty different, to be fair, so, you know, that's fine. We're gonna go ahead and I think red wouldn't be terrible. Yeah, we'll try red. We'll try red. Like, worst case, we can always repaint it. So we're going to take some wine red from AK Interactives. We're going to hit those little jumpsuit nodules. I don't really know what they are. But there's something. And that's all that matters, is that there's something. Alright. Now we can break open our very new Bulb Pyral Red. Very happy to get it back in the rotation. Give it a nice shake. Ooh. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. And then we're gonna do a wash over the metallics with our black wash. Excuse me. Just get a little bit of that. Here it is. Grab our black wash. We're just going to put that all over the metallic pieces. Like that. Just give them a nice little bit of a shade. If you think you got too much, you can just wick away a little bit. And we're gonna let that dry. Let that dry. Once that dry, we'll do a little bit of highlighting there. While we're waiting on that, you can take some of this brown, some of this gray, do something to kind of help break up her legs a little bit. And she's got some straps right there. The nice thing is we can use the exact same color, but without that gray to then highlight. Or I guess more accurately, we can use that to then establish our mid-tone. And then we can add a little bit of a brighter color to this to then add those highlights in. And I already kind of had a color mixed for this since I was doing leather earlier. For all the straps she had on above. Just kind of hit those. And like going back to the red, I can mix a little bit of this yellow in there. There we go. Let that dry. Looks like our wash for the metallic is dry, so then we can go back in with our bright silver. Just kind of hit some of those upper facing edges. Like that. Okay. You can also hit those little arm pieces as well. Give those a nice shine. And then just to give the boots a little bit of a definition, we're just going to kind of edge highlight them a little bit. Like so. Like that. That way you have a little bit of definition on the feet. Now, with that dry, I want to hit that with some ink. So we're gonna get our airbrush. Go. We're gonna move this to the side. We're gonna need new paper anyway. All right. And I personally think like a cool blue light source would be nice. So I have just the ink here, our Liquitex ink. I think we're also going to get our white ink a little bit as well. Give them a good little shake. And what I want to do with the white ink is just create a little bit of a strong object source for our blue ink to really catch on. Alright, so thank you, Airbrush, for cooperating with me. Just a couple of drops in there. I don't need a whole lot for this. Just make sure it's flowing. And then we're going to use just a whatever piece of something to help block. I think the sponge will work just fine. Or well, I'm going to customize the sponge a little bit. There we go. That way we don't accidentally spray her head. Don't really want to cover any of that up. I think that's all we'll really need to sell that OSL effect. And that was probably less than a couple of drops worth of ink. So we're just gonna get our airbrush nice and clean again so we can shoot the blue ink. Okay. Just make sure it's actually flowing clearly. And then we're gonna get our blue ink. And this we're gonna thin down quite a bit because this is fairly strong ink. 3 drops should be more than enough. And we're just gonna add a little bit of distilled water. Do a little bit of backflow. Yeah, see, it's still really intense. So, I'm gonna grab some airbrush thinner. And give that a mix. Just kind of winging it here, honestly. That should be better for what we're looking for, I think. Get our sponge back into place. Now we can just kind of lightly shade that part of the miniature in the blue ink. And now we got a little bit of a cool object source lighting going on. You can kind of be a little bit more liberal with the application on this side of the figure. Just have to be super careful. Get just a little bit on her face there. It seems weird and counterproductive of what we were just talking about, but I think that looks pretty cool. I'm gonna check it in another light real quick. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that looks. So yeah, I think for as far as the miniature goes, we're gonna call that one done. We need to do some basing, but we can figure that out in just a moment. Just like before, we're gonna get our airbrush nice and clean. I don't like dirty airbrushes. Take a little bit of isopropyl here. Get it nice and cleaned out. Okay, we got our airbrush all cleaned up. Put that there for now. I think we're gonna go real simple with the base here. Put these back up. My poor wet palette, it's seen better days, man. Seen much better days. Come on off of there. Okay. Well, that's fine. I meant to cut a bigger piece, but this will do. At least for our purposes. All right. So, what I'm thinking we're gonna do for this base is pretty simple. We're just gonna basically make it a street, and we just need a black to rebase everything around her feet. So we got that. We're gonna need a pink. So we can do some yellow on top of it. And then we're gonna need some yellow. We're gonna use deep yellow for that from AK Interactive. Just gonna need a little mix-a-rooney, but that's okay. There we go. So first of all, I'm gonna get our black and just repaint all of this to be black. Just like that. We'll wait for that to dry. Then we can do our road stripes. Alright, so going back to the Titan project, we're going to go ahead and get this piece primed and ready for some paint. Okay. Speaking of AK, we're gonna grab their black primer. This is one of the best brush-on ones I have found personally. Alright, should be good and mixed up now. We're going to use the same little cell to put it in. And we're going to get some blue tack pop onto another painting handle. So we have somewhere a little bit easier to get this primed. Pop that on there. Start doing some brush on priming. And we're probably going to make some further modifications to this once it's primed, which I don't know if is that a good idea and or a bad idea, but I know we're going to learn. I know that much. We're gonna learn today. Tell you that much. Okay, we're gonna let that dry. And then we're going to need to hit that with another round. Alright, while that's drying, our other mini should be dry, and it is. I think from the look of it, I will do a second pass on the black here. Alright. We're gonna let that dry. Alright, so we're gonna have that. I know that much. Not really the best time to dig around for bits. But I'm pretty happy with how she's turned out so far. I think the blue light hitting the side, and I'm going to do that on the base as well a little bit. I think that'll really give it the cyberpunk feeling we're looking for, I think. Pretty fun to paint up. They go by pretty quick. I mean, the sculpts aren't like incredible, but they're not too bad. I wonder how the other sculpts are. While we're waiting on her to dry, we can take a look. Let's see. So probably paint the business guy next. He's like oddly way better. Like still definitely has some mold line issues, but overall, like that's a fairly more crispy detail, especially on the face. Like the face is way better on him. The face on her is pretty smushed. Like it looks like somebody hit her with a frying pan or something, which is a darn shame because I think she's my favorite character in the blister for that. Oh my god. Oh my god, get out of there. Thank you. I think while we're waiting, we'll go ahead and start doing some cleaning on this one here, because I would like to get these done as like a little bit of a collection, and then I can have them in the store that readily supports this game system. They'll look cool. I can play with them if I ever want to experience the game. I don't know anything about the game other than it's Cyberpunk, and that's kind of where I jump in. I really like the theme and the atmosphere of Cyberpunk. Really like 2077. Plus, like, the nice thing too with this miniature in particular is the only thing that's not included on the actual miniature is the head. Like, everything else is here, so I don't have to like aggressively sculpt, or not sculpt, but try to figure out how much cleaning is needed for parts to fit effectively. And that's nice. And since I have the primer out, if I can get this dude cleaned up quick enough before it dries, I can get him primed. Like, that's kind of the biggest problem with these miniatures. Like, sometimes it's hard to tell what is intended texture and what's a mold line. And I'm guessing this is CO cast. I'm not 100 on that, but I'm kind of guessing that's what this material is. It doesn't shave particularly well. Like, that's just kind of a weird, like, whole tab there. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm assuming, given the other, like, loafer foot that this dude, that's not, like, an intended part of the sculpt. So I'm shaving that back, but, like, feels mighty weird to be doing that. But I do like the sculpt, though. I think the sculpt is very cool. I think he's second favorite, past the hacker lady. Alright. That's pretty cleaned up minus the feetsies. So we're going to do that. Oh, missed that mold line there. At least with these, like, you don't really have to worry about it being super fragile. So I do like that, at least. Like, yeah, there's a little extra cleaning, but it's not too bad. Like, I would say 3D printed resin is just as bad, if not somehow worse sometimes. Like, it does do okay with shaving, but I would do wish it was better with that. But, I mean, can't win them all, I guess. Not everything can be GW plastic. Like, it's kind of weird that, like, a hacker and, like, a business dude came in the same blister, but, I mean, he's obviously not a business guy. I mean, he's probably a corpo, but, you know, hey, he's got a blast. He's gonna blast somebody. At least he'll try, I'm sure. He will try. I don't know if he'll succeed on that note, but I'm sure he would try if given the opportunity. don't think I have another painting handle, which is a big bummer. Well, I might. Hold on. Oh, well, let me just grab another base. It doesn't really matter. Excuse me. We're just gonna get this dude glued on there. And I think we're gonna use... Are you the one I'm looking for? No, that's my round one. Object permanence. It's a real problem. Oh, there it is. I found it. Found it, everybody. Found it. Crises avoided. We're just going to kind of scuff up the base a little bit. So when we go to glue him, that super glue will have a little extra bite. Do the same on his feet. The more grip you got, the better it is. Get some good sized glue blobs on there. Pop him on his new home. And that, he shouldn't be going anywhere now. We'll let that dry for a moment and then we can prime him up as well. Alright. Now we're gonna hit this with a second layer of primer. Make sure it's good. I mean, it looks fine now, but I really want a good primed surface for painting, especially when it comes to competition pieces. There we go. We'll let that set up off to the side. Put you right here for now. Alright. And while that's doing that, that looks like it's just about dry, but we're going to wait just a little bit longer on hitting that with any primer. Now we're going to finally get around to doing some more on her base. And if you weren't aware, pink is a really good undertone for yellow. So we're just going to lay down some pink. that. Try to get that at least semi-straight. I think we might go a little bit wider. And the nice thing on this as well is I can always come back in with that black and just get rid of any little faux pas messes. And I think on the back here, we'll just do a straight well, quote unquote straight line like that. Then we can take our yellow and go over these lines. So definitely take a couple coats. Yellow is naturally a pretty thin paint. It struggles with opacity. Get some regular yellow here too. Just to make sure that that wasn't an issue with the pigment and the actual medium of the acrylic as well. But while that's doing its thing, this dude is dry, so we're gonna get him with some primer. I love this primer so much for Press On. It's wild how good it is. Really hoping at Adepticon I can run into the AK Interactive people. That would be cool. Meet them, talk about their product maybe. Maybe be cool enough to get an affiliate with them or something. That'd be pretty cool. And I don't have to be overly precise with this. There's no airbrush to clean. Just me, a paintbrush, trying not to make too many mistakes. Nice. That primed up rather well. Put him off to the side to dry. This is looking pretty good. So we can start working on that. Here shortly. Now, I can try with this yellow paint. There we go. Some nice bright yellow street markings. If I wanted this to be more dull, I could have used a brown instead of the pink. Just kind of hitting these with third and fourth coats real quick. Okay. So now with this fully primed, we can kind of get an idea of where we want this to be sitting on the base. Let's see. So if I have him right about there, could maybe have kind of poking out like that, maybe like a big cannon thing in the middle. I think what we're gonna do as well is kind of distress this side here. I don't know if I'm gonna have that visible or not, but I'd rather have the option so we can just kind of cut a little bit out of that. Like that. Just to kind of show it wasn't like a cut, you know, and more of an organic break, so to speak. And then I think we're gonna put a big hole right in the middle there. And see, this is one thing you should be a little bit more aware of, unlike me. We're actually gonna, well, no, we're not going to. So I'm gonna hit this with a drill. And that makes it a little bit redundant, so we'll worry about re-priming anything that got a little bit stuffed. we're gonna work up a few different sizes here. Think, yeah, to be like in scale, I think we're gonna want to get to pretty chonky boy, I think. With this, I at least don't have to be super careful. Hey, how you doing, Ferdros? How you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. You just caught us at where we're going to be drilling into a back piece for a Golden Demon entry for a little bit of a Reaver Titan build that we've been going on. We also been working on a Cyberpunk mini in addition, so we're just hanging out, doing some hobbying. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Alright. And do not do what I'm doing. This is, like, honestly a really bad idea, but no one ever called me smart. So we're doing it. Plus, I think you'll look cool. Alright. We might go back even and do a little bit of those sized holes as well for like a little bit more of like small arms fire. All right. There we go. I was like, how was I just holding that? That was actually like, wouldn't say super safe, but safer. Alright. There we go. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I am Big Nerd. We're doing sketchy drill stuff. I hang out, paint Warhammer, and other things like this Cyberpunk mini. Just whatever miniature catches my eye. Feel free to drop a follow. I'd much appreciate that. We go live every Wednesday, sometimes Tuesdays. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Always happy to answer. Okay. And hopefully our last drill bit will go relatively smoothly. Because I really don't want to get another step up bit, but I will if I need to. I will if I need to. This looks like it'll be okay. If I just be careful. Like so. There we go. I've been recently getting back into War Machine. I'm not super familiar with War Machine, but I've heard pretty good things about it. I've heard it's a really fun game, so that's exciting. Honestly, I don't have all the money I wish I did to play all the cool games. But I wish I did, though, because I'd be playing a lot of cool games that I currently don't have money for. Alright, so now that I've drilled into where I wanted and didn't completely fuck up my hand, which is always a plus, can kind of clean this up a little bit, and I want to do a little bit of a flare to the damage, just to kind of give it more of a natural look. That should be pretty good there. And then what we can do as well, which I think I will do, is I can drill a couple smaller holes into this with the little small drill bit. Always do it the wrong way. There we go. Every time. Alright. So I think I want to do another one maybe like down here. Like, the nice thing about this too is I can almost use this as kind of like a Dremel almost. To bore out some of that material. Like that. Then like maybe get like another one right here. There we go. Sorry for the noise. We're done drilling. I just wanted to add a little bit more damage to this piece. Welcome in as well. Hope you're having a great day or evening. Keep losing my X-Acto blade. And that's not particularly nice, but you know. We find these things. Alright, cool. So I think that looks pretty good. Now we can re-prime a little bit, because we scuffed it all up. but we had to scuff it all up. There we go. Now we can wait for that layer of primer to dry. We'll work on that more tomorrow because you really want that primer to set up for at least 24 hours, really. I mean, you can start working on stuff pretty quickly, but for the purposes of this, we're definitely going to let it set and get a little bit more chemically adhered. So this can be moved over as well. Pass that over yonder. You can get moved back, my friend, along with you. Now we can go back to this. And the main thing we're going to be doing here is just cleaning up these lines. We can do that by just simply encroaching on them like so. And this isn't for competition, so I'm not going to be worried about it being perfectly straight or anything. Just going to kind of try our best to eyeball it. Hey, welcome in, welcome in. Hey, Warhammer Builder, what's up, dude? Take advantage of deals when you can. Have enough army to fill a 100-point army, which is the highest level. Dang, okay, that's really good. This is a Cyberpunk Combat Zone miniature that I've been working on. Comes in these little blister packs. Or Combat Zone, yeah. And this one's from False Flag. They're pretty decent little miniatures. They're like Cyocast or Ceocast. But yeah, I'm working on them for not so much a commission, but I'm going to be displaying some miniatures in a local LGS of mine. So I figured these would be fun ones to do because they're kind of simple, and the LGS that I'm going to be displaying them at is getting pretty into the whole Cyberpunk Combat Zone, so I figured it'd be cool to get some miniatures painted up for it, and they can have that displayed at the store. I can play them whenever, maybe pick up some commissions out of it, etc., you know. What you up to, man? How's your night been? Okay, we're gonna let that dry and attack that for another go. But I also have our Golden Demon Titan project going on. I just did some distressing for a piece that's gonna go on the base. So I think that's gonna sit somewhere on there as some rubble where he's stomping around, you know. I think that will be nice. So just got this primed up. It's going to have to sit overnight, get all chemically set up, and we'll continue working on that tomorrow. So till then, I'm just kind of messing around, having a little bit of fun with these Cyberpunk miniatures. Kind of doing a bad job on this back line here. Like, I think the front two look good. But been kind of slow going on this one. Though I need to remind myself this doesn't need to be perfect. No one's paying me for it. I'm literally doing it just to have a little bit of a giggle. What I can do on that one too, and the other ones, is hit them with a bit of a sponge. And that'll give it just a little bit of a texture. And it'll break up some of those pure lines. Make it a little bit more believable. What you up to? Painting anything? Just hanging out? What's on the agenda? Just hanging out? Yeah, fair enough. It is pretty late, in all fairness. I'm the weirdo that was up late doing things. Were you in a Midnight Ghoul stream? Hopefully he had a good live. Then we can take this and just kind of break up those edges a little bit, and they'll look a far bit more believable. But yeah, typically I'm pretty thrifty. I only make like twice federal minimum wage. So I have to be careful and prioritize what I'm supporting also. Yeah, all sorts from the 40K, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda Battletech, Star Wars Legion. Dang, dude, that's a lot. I mean, I feel you, though. I try to be thrifty when I can. I've gotten some pretty good deals. Honestly, a large portion of my money saving is just trying to not be interested in a particular game. Doesn't always work out. I've bought into a fair share of Star Wars Legion. I have like 7 Warhammer armies between Age of Sigmar and 40K. I got into Song of Ice and Fire for a little bit. I was in Armada before it went caboosed. I'm wanting to get into Trench Crusade. I'd love to pick up a Prussian set. They're so cool. Kind of. So it's not quite as big on scale. So it is a, like, war game, but instead of having, like, 100+ miniatures, you'll have, like, 50 at most. The initiative system is different. How you determine turns is different. There's a lot different. There's a unique dice system to it. Like movement tools. Yeah. So it's quite different, but it's not so far removed. It's like that different, I guess. Like they have the whole keyword system as well as like 40K does. So if you understand the keyword system of 40K, you're going to pretty quickly pick up the keyword system of Star Wars. But it definitely took a little bit of learning for me. There's a lot of tokens involved that Warhammer doesn't do unless you're specifically adding those tokens to your games. Yeah, Trench Crusade is a lot of fun. I've played it on Tabletop Sim, and I've had a really good time with that. I need to play more of it, but I just haven't had the time, and my friend has been quite busy as well. But yeah, I'd love to pick up like a Prussian kit, because their tank buster swords are like hilariously good. They did get a little bit of a nerf in the last update for Trench Crusade. Like, you can only take 2 now instead of 3, and I think there's a little bit of a nerf to them now, which makes sense. I used them before that edition, and oh my goodness, they were getting in there. Dang, dude, that's awesome. Like I said, I got quite a bit. I have, let's see, I have Krieg, Night Lords, Astra Militarum. Oh, that is Krieg, duh. Sisters of Battle, Space Marines, Night Haunt, Cruel Boys, Admech. There's so many things. And then I have Republic and Rebels for Legion. I have Republic and Rebels for Armada. So yeah, I got quite a bit. Yeah, dude, I really want to get into Trench Crusade more. It's such a cool game. Such a cool game. I really enjoy it. Alright, I'm gonna goof around and find out, as I would say. I want to try a little bit of what, like, Ninjon and Murray from Tabletop Time. Kind of want to try that on him, where like they just kind of do some random colors. I mean, not like really random, but seemingly random colors. Have them like blend into each other with some wet blending, and see what kind of cool things they can come up with. Yeah, like I said, I've played a good amount of that on TTS. I had a lot of fun with that. I haven't played the new rule set, which, as I understand, isn't like a great departure from the last rule set that they had. But still, I haven't played the updated version. So that's on my to-do list for sure. We're gonna try just kind of messing around here. I don't even know what I'm doing, honestly. Just kind of blend this in. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. Do like I get this like purple out of it. That's kind of cool. Not quite sure what that's going to translate to in the rest. I've never really painted like this. I'm just kind of doing stuff at this point in the night. They already patched the issues out of 1.1, so it's pretty good. Okay. I didn't know they had major issues in 1.1. I think the last time I played was like right before 1.0, or maybe in 1.0. I'm not 100 on that, if I'm being honest with you. I'm gonna get the Astra Militarum Combat Patrol soon. Hell yeah, dude. You gonna get the regular Acadians, or are you gonna get the Krieg Combat Patrol? Alright, cool. I don't know what that's gonna get us in the long run, but we're gonna try goofing around with it. Dude, I don't know yet. I mean, I've just seen other painters way more experienced do shit like this and like pull a really cool paint scheme out of it, and that's all I'm gonna try to do here. I think I don't know. This is just me experimenting, brother. But maybe I like that idea. I like where your head's at. Acadians, though, that's sick, dude. Acadians are cool. I'm really hoping they refresh the Steel Legion. My wallet is hoping I'm wrong. Trust me. But me, personally, as a human being obsessed with cool miniatures, give me more gas mask boys that are just slightly different and painted in mustard. But that'd be so cool to see. I'd love to see that. I'd love to get some commissions for that. I think that'd just be really cool. Yeah, I like how she came out. This is me more just traditionally painting. So tomorrow I'll get her varnished up. I can at least drop her and some other miniatures off to the LGS. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm hoping. I mean, with Yarick coming back and general teasers, I think it's pretty likely to happen. I'd be excited if it did. Are there any major things you'd like to see in 11th edition of 40K? Just realized I didn't do his briefcase. I need to get that all multicolored, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't heard anything from the Whispers of the Warp yet, but there are always possibilities since they surprise revised Yarick. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Big Yart coming back is cool. I was really hyped to see that in their reveal trailer. In my opinion, they shouldn't bring any more Primarchs back. The exception is Vulcan. Well, I think you're going to be disappointed in that one, unfortunately. I think, personally, and I'm not saying I'm agreeing with them, but I think they're going to bring back every Primarch. I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to just shenanigan their way into having every Primarch back to make buco money. Because I think whether or not it makes any sense in the lore, people will buy them, and that's kind of, I don't know if that's the problem, but that's definitely the case. Because so far, like, that's all they've done is brought back Primarchs and just made buco bucks. He brings Synchronism to call it a joke. Yeah, I mean, I agree, but They unfortunately control the narrative, and I wouldn't be shocked if they do weird stuff in the future. Like, at the end of the day, I think they're in to make money, so I think they're gonna do everything in their power to make said money. Okay, I think it'd be cool to maybe go with like a green suit. That might be kind of cool. It's brownish green. It's dark green. What are you? You're dark green. Did I buy 2 dark greens? No, that's black green. Okay. We'll start with that then. They probably already buffed Synchronor to Primarch level next. Yeah, right? Sure. I mean, I don't know too much about the competitive scene, so like I can't promise you that I'll make great competitive suggestions, but I will certainly give suggestions. You can count on that. Yeah, no, for sure. They've been buffing the Sanguinor quite a bit every time in every edition, so I think it would make sense for him to be basically Primarch level in a lot of ways. But we'll see ultimately. I mean, I hope they stick to the lore and they don't do a lot of silly stuff. I hope. But I don't know how realistic that is either. Yeah, I mean, right now, as far as guard is concerned, you at least want a Rogaldorn tank commander, a Rogaldorn in general. Lehman Russes are solid. Oh, okay, here we go. 1 jump pack, cap with jump pack, 1 repulsor, 1 assault terminator, 1 squad of incursors, 1 squad of eliminators, 2 intercessors. Okay, so I don't know much about incursors, but assault terminator squads aren't bad. Getting the combat can kind of be tricky, but Space Marines have a lot of tricks to get units into combat now, so it's not really the end of the world. Repulsors, are they the repulsor executioners or just like the standard transport variant? The standard, okay. I mean, you probably still would want 2 of those. I would definitely look into getting the repulsor executioners. Those are really good. If left undefended or out in the open, they can kind of get blasted. But even then, it still takes a fair amount to do said blasting. But they certainly can get blasted. I've done it, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I would definitely look at repulsor executioners. They're pretty cool. I like them quite a bit. The eliminators are solid, especially if you can get them targeting some really high value characters, because I think they have precision hits, which is really good. I would definitely say get some eradicators. Oh my god, if you can get them in range of your opponent's armor, or anything with high toughness and multi-wounds, like, they will just eat that for lunch. They care not. They're so good. Aggressors are solid. If my hit is curse unit +1 to hit roll. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, and cursors, okay. Is hit a unit, they get +1 to hit. Okay. So I assume you mean if they hit a unit, other units get +1 to hit against that same unit. That's pretty solid. Because the guard has something similar to that with their scout sentinels. Basically, if you can get within 18 inches, you can give them a really nasty stare, and anytime a unit shoots at whatever they looked at, you can re-roll a hit roll of 1, and that can kind of come in handy. Yeah. I mean, I don't know all of the ups and downs of that, but I don't entirely disagree. Some of those units are definitely swingy, but like I don't think they're particularly bad units, especially for like casual play. But again, I'm very casual though. So I don't mind seeing those units on the field personally. But yeah, I would definitely look into a unit to attach to your jump cap. Yeah, characters by themselves aren't what they used to be, which is a dang shame. I mean, some of them still are, but those are kind of rare, and they're usually epic characters at that. But I mean, I think you could definitely make the assault Terminators work, because you can use like that new attachment to, or detachment to have them deep strike in with other things, because you can just pick any 3 things from the Marine list and just have them deep strike, which is hilarious. I mean, all transports are kind of expensive buses, in my opinion. But I can see your point there, I suppose. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't play a ton of Space Marines. I have them, I collect them, but I haven't played a ton of games. My main armies would be Krieg and my Night Lords typically, so I know them a little bit more. I'm going to try to thin this paint a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Let those under colors really try to give them a chance to affect how that top coat is going to look. At least attempt. I don't know, I'm still mucking around with this stuff. But I think it did give it a little bit of variance. But I do know the executioners. I feel like those are good. I've played against them. I feel like they're solid. I think it's them anyway that you have like the ability to if you get shot at just to jump back in. Like, that's wild to me. That'd be kind of interesting. Let's see what that looks like. I don't know what I'm doing. Just doing stuff. Alright, well. Looks like bro dipped out anyway. That's fine. Maybe like an ivory tie? I don't know. We can use this. A little bit of that red. Right, yeah. No, for sure, they wouldn't be able to charge out of it, but I'm thinking more of like they would just be a deep striking unit and the repulsor could be hauling around literally any other marine unit, personally. Yeah, no, and that's fair. If you were to drop them from the repulsor. I mean, if you really want to charge out of a transport, you might as well just go whole hog and get a Land Raider at that point. But I mean, me personally, I'd rather just deep strike and pray to make a 9-inch charge. Okay, yeah. Yeah, because like I said, like if they have a jump out and jump back in rule, like that makes a lot of sense. Have then cursors jump out, apply the buff, jump back in. You know, if they get blasted out, well, that sucks, but at least the unit itself wasn't being directly attacked, you know. Well, I mean, again, if you're deep striking with assault terminators, you're gonna be charging at a deep strike. At least ideally. And at that point, you're gonna save a CP roll. Hopefully, not have to use it, but maybe re-roll and get into combat. Hey, Wendy, welcome in. Hope you're having a good night. We're just hanging out, painting some miniatures, talking some Warhammer. If you have any questions or just want to chat, feel free to post in, well, chat. Oh, no worries. You're good on spelling. I'm good. I'm good. It's getting to be about 1:30 in the morning, but we're hanging out. We're chilling. All right. Let's see. I don't know what I want to make his like little inner shirt yet. Just gonna grab colors here. What's sus? Maybe work on something like the snow blue, maybe? I don't know. That's why I'm having fun with these. I can just do weird stuff. Do weird shit. That's the fun part. And if anybody feels so inclined, give me a follow. We go live every Wednesday. I try to do around 10:30. We were a little late tonight, but 10:30 is my usual. Okay, I think that's a little bit bright, which is a bit of a bummer, but I can use that to mix into a gray. Let's try that. Maybe. I don't immediately hate that. Oh yeah, no worries, dude. Take it easy. Oh, I mean, maybe. It's hard to tell. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're a bot. At least not yet. Yeah, I'm certainly not a robot. Not yet, anyway. No, that's completely fair. I understand that one. The internet is a strange and weird place. And it tends to make people a little paranoid. So get that. But no, I think Wendy's cool. I've seen her before. Or them. I don't know. Don't judge. I don't care. I think they popped into my stream a couple times ago. Oh, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I'm Big Nerd, your late night painting insane person. Tonight we're working on some Cyberpunk miniatures, and earlier we did some priming and distressing on a Golden Demon base entry portion for a Reaver Titan I've been working on. Give me a follow if you want to see more of my content. Under my profile, we do have links to like Instagram, all that other jazz. So go hit me up there if you want to see more. More on the regular anyway. We do go live every Wednesday, but I am pretty active on my other socials. And this dude is looking mighty weird right now. but I'm kind of digging it at the moment. It's kind of got a weird vibe to him. I'll give him a black tie since we're doing more of a gray shirt. Dude's weird enough in Night City walking around with a frickin' green suit, but we're not here to judge. We're just here to paint cool minis. Tell you what. And then a little bit more of this. We can mix up a brighter gray. You're right, I just got off 6-hour stream, and last time rated him a little while ago. Did know. Oh, dude, you're cool. I don't think he meant anything by it. I think he was just trying to look out, but I appreciate you not taking that personally. How was your stream? What you been up to? What kind of hobbies are you into? What do you stream on here? There's so many different things on Twitch. It's like wild to think about how many things are out here on Twitch. Oh yeah, no, you're cool. I wasn't gonna ban you. Like, you'd have to like really do some goofy stuff around here to get banned. Trust. Like, I guess that said, I'm never like above banning people, but it takes a lot for me. You really got to do some pretty crazy stuff for me to really give a hoot. Oh yeah, no, you're cool. You're cool. Oh, well, I mean, you just gotta be careful out there, man. I get that. I get that. People do be crazy out there. Luckily, between Twitch and, like, I'm also on TikTok and Instagram, like, it's pretty easy to figure out, you know, what's what. But I get it. I'm sorry you've had that happen, man. Like, that sucks. It's never fun when, like, people are harassing you. That's never a fun time. Honestly, most of the time on my socials is just like random, like, scam companies trying to hit me up, which is, I don't know, funny, inconvenient, all the above. Like, no, I'm not gonna try your weird, like, paintbrush holder that also doubles as a, like, chess set or something weird, you know? It's like, probably what kills me the most is the, shoot, what are they called? Influencer agencies. Like, dude, I don't want to deal with you. Like, I know some people that use those, like, brand agencies or whatever. But, man, they're crazy. People get into weird situations with them, so I stay far, far away. Okay, well, I mean, still, I mean, anytime you don't feel like you can trust, you know, people, that's never fun. Want to get into minifigures, but I draw and play games. Just figured out how to stream from my PS5. Nice. What you streaming? And minifigs is not hard to get into, man. Like, it's not bad at all. Just need you some cheap paint, some cheap paint brushes. Don't listen to those crazy people out there that are like, oh, you need a $25 Winsor Newton size 0 brush and you need to pay for 12 Patreons to learn how to paint good. Yeah. Like, I get everybody's got to make money, but man, it's wild to see some of the stuff that people try to push on new people in this hobby. Yeah, I don't like a lot of that stuff, man. Like, I'm gonna do what I want. That's kind of my whole... I try to keep that in my whole mentality in life. It's like, you know, unless it's, like, objectively best for me to do what someone is telling me, like, I'm gonna try to find my own way in things. I'm gonna try to discover what works for me and what doesn't work for me, etc., etc. Stream for Avatar Frontiers on Pandora tonight. Oh, nice. I don't know much about that, but that sounds fun. I did see the last Avatar movie. I thought that was pretty cool. Kind of a weird segue, but going back to getting into mini painting and the miniature scene, completely optional. Want to make that very clear. But I do have a video on my TikTok on how to get started, and it's very, like, cheap oriented. Like, I don't talk about anything in there that's an arm and a leg, because I didn't have money when I started the hobby, and I don't like trying to push people new to the hobby into expensive things. I mean, I guess that's kind of a conundrum, since miniatures, depending on what rabbit hole you go down, are kind of expensive, but that depends on what company, what you're into, etc., etc. Like these miniatures, which are pretty cool. Like, I really like this sculpt. Granted, they had a little bit more mold lines than other companies, like GW, for instance, and others that I've dealt with. But, like, they've been really fun to paint. They're really cool sculpts. I love Cyberpunk. And they're like $20 for a blister of 3. So, you know, what's there not to love? Oh, nice. If you're on TikTok and you're into Transformers, because I assume you mean Bumblebee, like, from Transformers. And if I'm wrong, well, I don't know what else to assume what you're talking about. But one of my good buddies is really big into Transformers, and I'm sure she would be excited to have more people around. Helps if I can type. Jesus. But yeah, if you look up Mora Meeping on TikTok or YouTube, you should find her. She's an incredible Transformer content creator. Been following her for the last, like, 6 months. Really cool. I'm not big into Transformers, but her content's been pretty cool. And she's been getting into custom figures for people and painting them. Like, she's done some really cool, like, shatter glass stuff. Okay, awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, go check her out if you have time. She's really, really cool. Can't recommend it enough. Plus, she does some live streams on YouTube and TikTok, and they can be pretty funny. She does Manic Hour in her own words, and she gets pretty goofy in those, so it's a fun time. And then if you're looking for more just general miniature goodness, of course, there's my channel. But then there's plenty other, like TikTok has a really good, generally speaking, good, vibrant miniature painting scene, especially for Warhammer. So if that's something that interests you, recommend checking that out. There's a lot of good people over there. Didn't really mean to go into a whole like a promo thing, but I get really excited when new people show up. Oh yeah, no worries, dude. Take it easy, man. Thanks for popping in. Hope your work goes well. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hopefully catch you on next stream. And then if you're ever looking for, and I will say with a caveat, if you're ever looking for inspiration, go to Instagram. There's some really incredible miniature painters over there. But I will say with a caveat, do not compare yourself to them. That is like the quickest road to stealing any joy that you have for the hobby. That's actually what got me out of the hobby for like 5 years, actually, is seeing people do really, really high-end paint jobs and being frustrated I couldn't replicate that. And I don't know, like, if I'd consider my stuff super high-end, stuff now, but that said, like, getting away from that mentality is really good. You just want to get in there, have some fun, zone out, and have a good time, not worry about what other people are on about, And like the biggest thing I said is, just don't let people try to get you in on weird stuff, Don't pay more than you need to. I felt that when I go to TikTok and saw a person repaint the Demon Slayer models. Yeah. In a comic book style. Yeah, I mean, there's some really cool painters out there. I mean, it's, like I said, look at it as a personal journey, not so much a competition. I really had to get out of that mindset because that really killed the hobby for me. But to be fair, back then, I went in with not really the best set of intentions anyway. I went in with more of how do I get a miniature onto the table and how do I do that quickly, but also get really good results. And I have found while that can go hand in hand, it usually doesn't. Like, usually, not always, but usually you're going to spend at least a couple hours on a miniature, depending on what level you want to paint it to. Like, you can just throw 3 colors on like a Warhammer figure and be like, yep, it's good, it's done. It's tournament legal, which technically, yeah, that's true. It is. 3 colors and a base makes a tournament legal miniature. But going in with that mentality is not going to like really help you enjoy the hobby, in my opinion. Yeah, no, that's fair. And like, I think that's you kind of have to balance those. Like, yeah, you want to make something look really cool, but you also have to look at it as like a process as well. I don't know, maybe I'm just rambling, but I just want people to have a good time. Everything else will come in time, come in practice. I really hate the whole, well, I'm just not talented for it argument. It's like, well, neither am I. I am 100% not talented for this. I am skilled. I spent almost 3 years now watching tutorials, talking to other people, learning the craft, learning the skill. I didn't just get born and was like, yep, I know how to miniature paint. No, you're cool. I know what you mean. You're cool. You're cool. And like, I think these miniatures are like a fairly good example of it. Like, I'm painting these miniatures within a couple of hours of priming them. Are they to the most immaculate level? No, but I think they look cool. There you go, right? And I think if you're willing to put in the work and find the balance of what you want out of the hobby, I think you can find some really cool stuff and find a really good way to interact with the hobby and others in the hobby. That might have been a little bit too much bright. Let's try this. That's a little bit more in line with what I wanted. Yeah, no, the miniatures painting hobby is a fun one. It's definitely, well, it can be if you interact with it correctly. Like I've previously stated. If you let it frustrate you, it will. But you just gotta keep moving, keep painting, learn cool things, talk to cool people, all that good jazz. I hate the feeling I get when people say I can't do that. I can barely draw a straight line when I yell back at them. I haven't really ever used a straight line in my art. Yeah, and that's the whole thing too. It's like, I mean, I will say that's, I guess, one thing I typically kind of have a problem with is like traditional art. But like after doing painting, I know if I wanted to, like, I could. Like, it's not a matter of can't, it's a matter of interest and willing to sit down and put in the work. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, when people tell me, like, oh, I'm just not interested enough to do miniatures, but I think it's cool. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I respect that. At least you know where you stand on that, and I can get behind that. this is the part of streaming I struggle with, is finding commentary all the time. I'm unsure how people do it. That's my current struggle, which probably is weird for me, because like on TikTok I'm a little bit more used to babbling to myself, but here I don't know what it is, but I find it hard, find it difficult, and I'm still getting my sea legs for Twitch. As it were. Oh, man. Alright, guys, I think I've had a friend being a Kentron. Right. No, for sure. I mean, and if they want to draw, just encourage them, man. Like, that's what I've done with people, and it seems to have worked. But I'm going to have to bounce. I might be back on shortly. But without giving too much description, I think I need to take a short break. So thank y'all so much for hanging out. I'm just going to end the live. I'm not going to do a raid at the moment, so I can get off a little bit quicker. But I hope to see everyone next time, and if I jump back on, maybe I'll catch y'all shortly. Have a good night, everybody, if not, and I'll see y'all next time.